But Doom is just so dope. He has so many quotables. It was what was it? He was just like, "I used to be a god, Valerian." She was like, "Well, what happened?" He was like, "It was beneath me." Like that is the coolest shit ever. That is the hardest shit, and you know he means it. He has a quote in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 when he fights, I don't know if it's any member of the X-Men or Wolverine specifically, but it's just like, I'm gonna make you wish you were fighting Magneto. That is the hardest shit. Welcome back to another episode of Just What We Needed, another podcast. No, I didn't almost just forget the name of the podcast. I always knew what it was because I made the name. Um, this one feels really late. Because as you can tell from the cough, I was sick like 2 3 weeks ago. I got the flu. No surprise there because my job has me constantly outside and inside where it's like there's one room in my job's location that's like always super warm or super hot for some reason. So going in and out, it was bound to happen because we are still leaving winter, but it feels like we're still in winter. But yeah, and also if you see me tugging at my arms, I have on this 3/4 shirt that I got from DreamHack a couple years ago, and it's very uncomfortable because it feels like I have on like it feels like it's too small, but it's not. That's literally just how the shirt's supposed to go. I don't know how esports players do it. It's very uncomfortable. It's like if it like 3/4 shirts feel like high waters for your arms. I don't know how else to explain it. They feel like high waters for your arms. Let's get into it. So over the past couple weeks, one of the things that I did, I went to go see one of them days with my friend Shay, who I gave a shout out on the last podcast, and she was asking me to do something. I forgot what it was. Something about how she was like, Shay's not my name, or this isn't my I'm sorry, the flu took it out of me. If you're watching, I forgot what it was. But your name is Shay. Oh, I think that's what it was. Just because I made a comment that was like, I know like three Shays, and none of them go by their actual name. They go by the Shay nickname. She was like, not a nickname, it's part of my name. Well, if it's not your actual name, it's your nickname. And we got into that whole dispute, but she wants me to go ahead and apologize and let everyone know that Shay is her name, even though that's not what's on her birth certificate. But we went to go see one of them days, and I'll just be honest, the movie was not for me. That does not mean the movie wasn't funny. That doesn't mean the movie wasn't good. As I was explaining to Shay once we left, the movie just wasn't for me personally. It was like for the ladies, which I get. I feel like this is how you make a female led comedy. Like it wasn't. You know how in every female led action movie, there's always at least one joke where a man falls on top of a woman. And it's just like, oh, and he's pushed up on her. He's like, oh, so awkward. Oh, I know you're like this super spy, but I'm a clumsy guy. It felt like there wasn't. It doesn't feel like there was any of that in this movie. It feel like they respected the two main characters as women, right? It feels like it feels like one of them days. Like this is shit that black women go through too. I mean, not to this extent, obviously, but niggas, not being shit and running around trying to find who's trying to. I think it's stupid, but who's trying to sleep around with a man and all of that. Like it's stuff that they do go through. However, it's stuff that I don't relate to, right? So that's why I say the movie is not for me. They had some jokes like what's the name? Scissor's boyfriend Keyshawn was the only thing I really laughed at in the movie. And again, I'm not saying that the movie wasn't funny. I understood the jokes, I get it, but there were so many jokes strictly for the women. Like at the very start of the movie, Kiki's acting like, "Why you even fuck with this nigga anyways?" And Sid's just like, "Cause he got a big dick, obviously." So it's like, haha, I get the joke, but then he comes out of the room and camera pans down, just dick all there, and it's like, I ain't really come here to see all that, bro. Like, and that's what I mean when I say that the movie is for the ladies, and that's okay. That is okay. That is for the ladies. I just could not relate. He was the funniest part of the movie, though, especially at the very beginning when he was talking to what was Keys Palmer? What was her name? It was like Drew. I think he said something. He was like, Drew, I was talking to my friends about you the other day, and my boy wanted to holler at you, and I looked at him. I was like, nah, like that shit was hilarious. That was one of the funniest things to me because I could relate to it, right? But I do like how the movie was shot. I saw people joking on SZA about how old girl, like I didn't like SZA's character because SZA's character was annoying because that is one of the most relatable things, just like having one of your girlfriends just being completely delusional throughout the entire day. Everything they talk to you about is just nonsense, and she was just so out of it, taking pictures and like just trying to, just one of them girls that knows she cute so she can get whatever. Like in that scene where she's trying to get like some free ice cream or something. It just like it actually annoyed me. That scene actually annoyed me because I know women like that. I've seen women like that. That scene genuinely annoyed me. It really did. And speaking of annoying, when I say I know that this movie is for the ladies, because me and my friend, we were sitting there, and every time there was a little flirty scene or anything, there's a love interest that Kiki Palmer has in the movie. He's not really in the movie like that. He's not a main character. He just kind of shows up here and there, oddly enough. But every time there's a scene between them, there will be a woman on the side of us going, "Ooh, ooh," and ooh, ooh, ooh. That shit was so infuriating. I cannot stand hearing that shit. I cannot stand it. Every time they had a scene together, it was in the beginning too, and that's how you know it's not, again, it's not bad, but the best parts for me happen in the very beginning, and in the rest of the movie, I'm just kind of here because my friend wanted to see it. But in the very beginning, there's a scene where Kiki and the love interest Maniac, they're in a scene together, and she head over heels for him, and then she's standing in front of some honey buns, and he comes over and she's just like, "Can I get some of them honey buns? Or can I get some of them buns?" Or something like that. And she's like, what? And the lady next to us is going, okay, ooh, ooh, okay, ooh, okay, ooh. Like, that shit. That shit really killed me. She didn't kill my experience, but damn, I understand what people mean when they say, like, people in the theater sometimes won't shut the fuck up or don't, yeah, they just won't shut the fuck up, and I can see how like an audience would ruin your enjoyment of a film because that was annoying. Women have really annoying verbiage sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I love women, but y'all have really annoying. It because y'all don't know when to let shit go sometimes. Like I hate hearing, and that part. Okay, period. Like, oh man. The thing about women's lingo, that's what I mean. It's like women's lingo is like that shit just never dies out for them. They will carry that shit forever. And and you're gonna hear it every conversation, yo. Like, I don't know. But the film was fine. I think it was shot well. Everything, I didn't like how everything kind of just came together at the end, which is it sounds like a weird complaint. It sounds like I'm hating, right? But it was, I don't know. It was just it's Kiki Palmer got all that done in a couple hours. It was all same day. Her setting up that party for everyone. Invite your friends. Invite your friends. and old boy coming through, just shooting up the place. It seems like the writer like forgot that, oh shit, I only have like 10 minutes. I gotta wrap this up. I gotta wrap up these character arcs. I gotta make sure that SZA knows her worth, and I gotta make sure Drew gets her job, and Maniac gets his shoes. Maybe I need. Shit, I only got 10 minutes. Fuck. That's how it felt. That's how it felt to me. So it wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't for me, and that again is okay. Okay, yeah. So speaking on the topic of movies, I like how I'm transitioning this right on the topic of movies. I have yet to see Captain America: Brave New World. I'm going to see it, but I'm gonna see it once it's online and like Blu-ray digital. And the reason for that is, um, so I was listening to one of Cosmonaut Quicky's reviews, and he already said a spoiler warning. He already said, and it was in a non-spoiler review, so he already said the plot twist of the movie hinges on what they've already shown us in the trailers. So it already kind of takes the hype away. And then they kept sharing that one scene of Falcon fighting that guy. Sorry, Captain America. They kept showing that one scene IGN did of Captain America fighting that one guy in that. It looked like a cathedral or a church or whatever. And that shit just was not impressive. It wasn't. It was. Man, when you think back to that scene, and we all know what fight scene I'm talking about from Winter Soldier, you comparing that scene in the streets compared to what IGN has for Sam, what Marvel has for Sam, and what IGN keeps promoting for some reason, that shit look like a huge step down. But that's not why. Well, no, that is why I'm not seeing it in theaters. Like, I really don't want to waste my money on it, because if it turns out to be like really bad, I'm gonna feel bad, because I knew I should have seen Winter Soldier in theaters. I should have seen Winter Soldier in theaters, but I didn't. And I want to make sure I'm seeing the right movies in theaters. I just watched The Marvels, and I'm glad I didn't see that in theaters. That was not feeling it. Was not feeling that at all. But the main reason I do want to see Brave New World when everyone was shitting on it is because everyone was shitting on it. Because Sam is Captain America now. There were so many comments of, how is Sam supposed to fight Red Hulk? How is this Captain America now? He's just a normal guy. How is he supposed to be Cap? And of course, other people gonna be like, that's not my Captain America. All this and all that. The reason why I still want to see it is because this was the reaction when he became Captain America in the comics. First off, let's back up. For the people who keep saying, how is Sam supposed to fight a Red Hulk? He's just a normal guy. Guys, that is what makes him Captain America. I want to get that out. I really have been wanting to get this out there. The fact that Sam still wants to go toe to toe with Red Hulk with no super soldier serum. He has the vibranium. Yes, he still has the vibranium wings, but that's all he has. He can fly. He has some guns. That's not going to do anything, but that's what makes him Captain America. How soon we forget Thanos beat Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. Whooped all their asses. Motherfuckers was unconscious. Cap got up. He brought down his entire army and more ships. And Cap stood up and he was dead ass going to try and fight all that by himself. Just him. How soon we fucking forget. Because all of a sudden, how is Sam supposed to fight? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how Sam is supposed to fight Red Hulk. The point is, he's going to do it because he's Captain America and he's not scared to fight for what's right. That's the whole fucking point. And it's just going back to when Marvel started their what was it, all new, all different initiative back when I was in college. These were the same points being made back then. Why is Sam Captain America? And then, of course, Black Captain America. What? People aren't going to accept Black Captain America, which is still going on today. And now it's just transferred to the movies. Now it's on to an even bigger audience. People seeing today Black Captain America, and when did he even become Captain America? How did he become Captain America? What happened in the comics is just now on a grander scale now, because of course the movies are going to draw in more people than the comics do. The movies draw in people to see the comics. So as far as the whole people being like, that's not my Captain America, I don't want to see Sam can't hold his own, I'm gonna see that shit because be, I'm not I'm not a political person. That's the thing, right? So I really didn't get into like reading. I would read the synopsis of comics and the endings of what happened, and the general idea of what happened with comics on like Wikipedia or a comic historian, Dope Spill, all of that. And so I didn't really get into reading comics until maybe 2 years ago. But Cap comics, I tried to get into them, and they're just too political for me. History was my worst subject in school. It was never math, science. Like I was up and down with math. Science was fun sometimes. Language arts was always easy. Social studies was always my worst subject because I was always so bored, and I was just like, what does the past have to do with me? I get it. Slavery bad, Holocaust bad, and Abraham Lincoln, he's invited to the cookout for all that shit. But outside of that, I was just like, I don't really care so much about the past, so I never paid much attention. Always struggled on those EOGs, ELCs, tests, quizzes, all that. So as an adult trying to get into it now and read Captain America comics, I'm just like, Axis powers. What the fuck is he talking about? I'm confused as to who these factions are and who I'm supposed to be rooting for. So I couldn't get into Captain America comics, but I do like him as a character and what he stands for. Like I like Cap when he's on the Avengers. I like Cap when he's teaming up with Spider-Man and having one shots with people. There's one coming out soon where he's gonna team up with one of Thor's friends, and I'll be reading that because I just saw the one with Doctor Doom and Rocket Raccoon, and that was good. So I'll give this one a chance. The problem is I'm just not a super political person, so I couldn't get into the comics. And I say all this to say, even though I wasn't reading Sam Wilson Captain America back then, I still do like his character. Maybe not, I'm not super into his stories, but I do like the character. And I want to give the character a chance. I'm just not willing to spend $30 on it and sitting there in case the movie's bad. Especially by myself, because I've been asking around, like, who wants to see Captain America? And some friends will be like, I haven't seen anything past the first or second, so I'm like, shit. But as fast as movies come to digital now, especially if the movie is as bad as people are saying, what was it? A roof just recently caved in, and they said only two people were in attendance, nobody was hurt. That's crazy. People said the movie was so mid that it actually saved someone's life. That's kind of funny. It's not funny, but it's funny. But if the movie is really as bad as people say it is, it's gonna be on streaming like next month or in the next month or two. Because that's what I've realized, especially when it's a movie that I really had no intentions of seeing. It goes online quick, like super quick. So I'll see it on Disney Plus, whatever, in the next 2 months. I've avoided, and that's kind of how you know it's somewhat mid. Because there have been no spoilers. The only thing I've seen is people posting like pictures of was it Sam fighting Red Hulk, and that's the premise of not the premise of the movie because obviously I haven't seen it, but that's the whole probably the third act, which they have been putting in the trailer since day one. So that's not a spoiler. What else? What else? Yeah, that's not a spoiler. So I am very interested in seeing Brave. Sorry, not yeah, Brave New World. I forgot they changed the name from Brave. From what was it before? It wasn't Brave New World. It was New World Order. Oh, and I did see what's his name, the leader, and he looked fucking terrible. He Marvel, I need y'all to get to it, bro. Y'all have all these CGI monsters, dragons, and shit that look so good, and then you have a guy who just has a big head, and it doesn't even look menacing. Why? Wait, why does Captain America have all these Hulk villains in his movie? Is my thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, is Captain America like too political for movies because he doesn't have a lot of enemies outside of. Let me say this: he doesn't have a lot of mainstream enemies outside of Red Skull, Baron Zemo. What's his name? It's not Bone Crusher. It's something Crusher. Flag Smasher, who is just looks like Captain America, and then John Walker, U.S. Agent. Crossbones. That's what I was thinking of. Crossbones, maybe, and that's only because of I feel the MCU. I feel Captain America. He just didn't. He didn't, Cap doesn't have a good rogues gallery, but I still feel like that's no excuse to not have an actual Captain America villain in a Captain America movie because James Gunn can make Guardians of the Galaxy work, and those were characters no one knew who they were, and yeah, Cap needs a better rogues gallery because I really can't think of many villains. And I bring up Guardians because they were no name, so I feel like if they can, you can do that with the right director or writing. You can just do that. Like let's use some of Cap's lesser known villains and give them a movie. Hell, Sony's trying with, or did they scrap that movie with what is it, Tiger Mask or something? One of the Spider-Man villains who showed up one time in the '80s. He's a wrestler. I don't know, but I do want to get into One World Under Doom real quick because this series is going to be interesting. See, when it came to my favorite villains of all time, I would always tell people my favorite villain of all time is Unicron, right? From Transformers. Because I just love his concept of all these Transformers, all these robots. They turn into cars, they turn into jets, they turn into planes. And then you have a villain that turned into a planet. And that just blows my mind, right? It just blows my mind. Like I just love Unicron as a concept, and then on top of that, they always refer to him as the Transformers version of the devil, which is like, hey, yo. So you mean your version of the devil transformed into planets and can just gobble y'all up? That's crazy. That's insane. How do y'all even manage to win against this man? I hate how in recent times every time he has the on-screen appearance, it's just been like heralds. I think the first time was maybe in Transformers Prime, where he had to like shrink himself down and create avatars of himself. And then in Roger the Beast, he showed up, but he didn't. He showed up, right? But he didn't transform or anything. He just showed up, and then they stopped the space bridge, and then he went back home or got destroyed. I forgot how that movie ended, but yeah, just being is how Unicron transformed into a planet. That was just the coolest thing ever for me. And I say all that to say, in recent years, Doom has built himself to become one of my favorite villains now. Because it's beyond the concept. It's now I'm really reading into Doom's history, his character, and he's so damn cool, but so damn arrogant, which makes him so cool. It's the fact that Marvel will put out stories where Doom is in charge and you don't see anything wrong with it. Except for the latest Secret Wars. He fucked that universe up, right? But Doom is just so dope. He has so many quotables. It was what was it? He was just like, "I used to be a god, Valeria." And she was like, "Well, what happened?" He was like, "It was beneath me." Like that is the coolest shit ever. That is the hardest shit, and you know he means it. You're like, I was a god, but like being Doom better, and not like I can't handle this. Like I have more power as Doom than as God. That is the most arrogant ass shit. And I love it. He has a quote in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 when he fights, I don't know if it's any member of the X-Men or Wolverine specifically, but it's just like, I'm gonna make you wish you were fighting Magneto. That is the hardest shit. Doom is just such a hard character. And like I said, I just recently got into reading comics maybe 2 years ago. And one problem I had initially was every time I read a comic, Doom would show up in it. It didn't matter whose comic it was. I'll be reading Wolverine, Doom shows up in. I was reading Benjamin Percy's Ghost Rider, and there was a series, there was the issue where they were talking about some race across the valley or some shit. Doom showed up in that. It wasn't like a huge thing. It was just like a cameo. He had his own motorcycle or whatever it was called. There was something else I was reading where Doom showed up in that. He showed up in the X-Men's Hellfire Gala. He just showed up in everything. And originally I was just like, yo, this is kind of annoying. Like, why does he keep showing up? And then the more I read maybe his own comics, and then the more he showed up and they actually had conversations with Doom and his ideologies, I was just like, you know what? Okay, I see it. Like he's really and it's the fact that Doom also gets shit done, right? Doom get shit done, and even when he doesn't, he's just like, yeah, I let y'all do that for me because I didn't fucking feel like it. He's just so vain, and he just doesn't care, and it leads into One World Under Doom to where, what was it? He finally got the power of Sorcerer Supreme from Doctor Strange, and it's like he tricked him. Kind of, I remember because I wasn't really too interested in what was the event called? It was Blood Hunt. I wasn't really into Blood Hunt. I'm not really into Blade like that. I'm not into like vampire mummy stories. I know I said that like vampire mummy, but I meant like vampire comma mummy comma like those type of horror type characters. I'm just not interested in those really. I get people be like, yeah, Blade's cool, Blade's cool. Not so much for me. He's not my least favorite character, but he's a character I wouldn't really care if Marvel never used again. I just wouldn't feel the type of way. But anyways, after Blood Hunt, Doom becomes Sorcerer Supreme, and he starts making all these demands and telling people, hey, under me, and we changed this whole United States of America. Fuck that United Nation of Latveria. And you're thinking, oh, what's Doom gonna do? Like, oh, how's he gonna rule? How is he gonna be a ruler? What's he gonna do? And blah blah blah. Doom is just like, under the United Nations of Latveria, there will be free healthcare for everyone. And just like, that bastard. And just like, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna take Hydra, we're gonna clear out all these Nazis, and we're gonna have them dig up all these old hidden bombs that were underground. We're gonna have them do that, and you're just like, let's hear him out, because that's the reaction I got when I was reading One World Under Doom, and he was talking about how the Avengers have been fighting the Nazis since who knows how long. Again, I'm not the best in history. I forgot when that was. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're just like, they've been fighting the Nazis since World War II, and they still haven't been able to get them out of here. And I did it in a day. And you just sit there as a reader like, fuck, he has a point. And the way he twists it is what happened before One World Under Doom. Like, number one, it was what did Doom do? He was inviting Hydra to help him in world peace, and they were no, or something like that. And it was Baron Zemo saying, "No, we're not doing that shit. We would never do that shit. In fact, we're gonna take you down, Doom. We're gonna come here and we're going to destroy everything you love. You think we would ever work for you?" And it's broadcasted on the news. So later on, they broadcast it again, and there's like, they're buddy now. They're just like, nah, Doom, you got a point. Yeah, we want to help you out. And it turns out Baron Zemo is just a robot. So either way, it was just like, on one hand, Doom was gonna have the Nazis, like, turn a new leaf or whatever and help the world do better, under new management, under Doom. And it was like, okay, so you're gonna use them to do all the dangerous shit that, other people should be doing. All right, cool, whatever. They're Nazis. Who cares? And then on the flip side of it, you're like, nah, I killed all the Nazis. Yes, it was a yes. You did see me talking to a robot. I killed Zemo last week. And it's just like, okay, um, what's the downside here? Doom got me with the free healthcare. I would have voted for Doom. Cause it's like I was telling people before, like the day the issue came out, we just changed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of the United States for no fucking reason other than to be racist. And when I say we, I mean Trump. Like we did that. Trump did that for no other reason than to be like a petty bitch. That's it. That is the only reason he did that shit. Because there was no reason to do that. So if you're telling me we can change the United, what is it, the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of the United States or the Gulf of North America, whatever you changed it to, if we can change it to that for no reason other than to be petty, we couldn't change the United States of America to be the United States of Latveria for free healthcare for everyone? Are you serious? And of course, there's always going to be some rednecks being like, "I'm not changing nothing. This is America, and no, 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 and they better suffer for that." Like, it's going to be those people, but realistically, like, this man took out a bunch of Nazis, a bunch of racists in a day. You can't argue that. You can't. So I'm really interested in seeing what Marvel does with this. I want to see how the downfall of Doom goes, and I already know it's probably going to be he gets too big for his britches and his own arrogance is his downfall. I feel that's the only way, not the only way, but that's how they normally write Doom, right? That's just he's in control. He has everything in the palm of his hand, and then he just his head gets too big and he fumbles everything. I know that's how it usually goes for him. So I am very interested in seeing how this goes, but I'm very hungry. So I'm going to cut this podcast a little short, a little 10 minutes short. Um I appreciate y'all for listening, watching. Can't wait for the next one. I'm going to try to get more timely on the next one whenever that is. But yes, it's been great. It's been real. Appreciate y'all for joining. Yeah.